And welcome back to Across the Board with Ian the Colonel here on Hawk Radio, hawkradio.org. And another one of my favorite bands, punk bands, kind of started out as a ska band. These guys out of Kansas City, Mizzou, the Architects. Now, not to be confused with Architects, the English metalcore band. Right. Two separate bands here, like we had with the Frantic and Frantic.
Right.
These guys are the Architects out of Kansas City, and we have Keenan on lead guitars with us right now. Keenan, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing fine and dandy.
Nice. So, do you guys get that a lot? You get mixed up with the other band? Because you guys actually both formed the exact same year.
Yeah, sometimes it was more of an issue on when we did a Warped Tour in 2009. You could always tell the one kid, like halfway into the first song, that was really bummed out that we weren't the English Architects.
He's like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
What the hell is this? You seem kind of like mope away. I mean, I kind of enjoyed watching that disappointment, but
yeah, right. I like that.
Sometimes I've been known for a cruel sense of humor.
You have to put that in a video somehow. So, but again, you guys are from Kansas City. You know, you guys are the punk, originally a ska band, and the band is four people, three brothers, and who were originally part of the Gadgets, the band The Gadgets, and then they became the Architects, and then later you joined the band. So you're actually the only non-family member in the band, Keenan.
The non-brother of the mix.
Yeah, right. What is that like? I mean, obviously you're not an outsider to those guys, but what's that like being in there with three brothers?
Man, it's kind of really refreshing because
Nice.
I've been in some bands before. When you there's this family bond and kind of vibe, where it's all for one, and where in other bands I've been in before, it's like you get sick of being around some people
Right.
sometimes. So that's not the case here, where you can just like watch, if someone gets on your nerves, you just watch them like fall into a puddle.
So
that's not the vibe with us.
is there any plans to do they have a sister? Can you marry in and become part of the family?
No, I'm not. I don't. That might be a little weird, but
Just threw you for a loop with that one.
I've been in the mix now for almost 5 years, 4 years in the band, and then a year before I was kind of just already coming out on the road and helping with whatever they could help with, kind of like TMing or teching. So
Yeah.
yeah, I know their mom. She's really nice. She likes me. She made me stuffed peppers once.
Stuffed peppers, good times.
Go ahead, Mom Phillips. Now, the most recent album is The Hard Way, which actually came out in 2009. And with that, you guys actually started working with Aaron Connor again. Now, Aaron Connor, one of the bands that he's certified platinum producer, but one of the bands he's most famous for working with is actually Bone Thugs and Harmony. What was it like working with Aaron?
It's interesting because he comes from the hip hop background,
right,
where his core sounds are a lot different than what a guitar player wants to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in the studio, you're like, man, my guitar isn't loud enough. This is weird.
Oh yeah.
In the end, it comes out spot on. And that guy is, Pro Tools is like his second language. He is so fast. He is such a fast engineer on top of it.
Wow.
That it really cuts out a lot of downtime that you usually get in the studio.
And I've worked with Pro Tools before, and I can tell you that's no easy task to be that fluent and proficient in it. I mean, that's says a lot to who he is.
And a lot of times it's a fast paced jamming session when we get in the studio because we don't have a lot of time. And we had him in there sometimes 8 to 12 hours straight until finally it's like my eyes are burning. Let's call it.
Right.
You've toured with My Chemical Romance, and you've got numerous other bands you've been on tour with. Who have you not been on tour yet with that you would love to do a headlining tour with eventually in the future?
We all are super huge fans of the Bronx. I think we've played some like spotty shows here and there with them throughout the Midwest. I would love to go on a full blown tour with the Bronx.
Nice.
Bouncing Souls, we're all huge fans.
Oh,
of
yeah,
very
Bouncing
nice.
Souls. And who else? Van Halen might be cool.
With who is the singer?
Diamond and Dave. But, I mean, if we had a time machine and go back to 1984, I would say the tour with Van Halen would be pretty sweet.
Why doesn't anyone ever pick Gary Cherone? Just saying.
Because he's Gary Cherone, man.
Hey, man, he was good.
Gary Cherone.
He was good with Extreme, okay?
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
there you
he
go.
was totally good with Extreme.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, I've read that Brandon has said, lead singer Brandon, that like on The Hard Way, Big Iron Gate, he says that song is really his axe to grind with law enforcement and, the way that crime and punishment is treated in this country. Talk a little bit about what you guys are trying to say with songs like that.
Well, it's just, there's with certain aspects of law enforcement, there's just a lot of unnecessary bullying that goes on,
Yeah.
It's like when you play a club and there's 5 bouncers that are just getting off on that cheap power trip, or like, they want to put a finger in your chest and stop you and be like, where are you going? It's just totally unnecessary machismo.
Yeah.
And that's the attack that they're getting from us, is just the unnecessary BS.
Yeah, I can see that when we had Tom Gable on from Against Me.
Right.
He actually talked about how he actually got badly beaten by the cops when he was like 13 or 14 in public on a boardwalk. So, crazy stuff out there.
I mean, we've all taken our lumps and gone to jail. I mean, Brandon's been arrested at a show in Kansas City, Kansas.
What?
Can you say for what? Or
we were playing this bar, and the owner. It was the owner's birthday party, and he had some, ladies that dance in clubs, and
yeah,
in their underpants. And
he had strippers in their underwear. You can say it. Yeah.
they had strippers there, and they came and shut it down. And like, Brandon was just asking questions, and he got to go get his picture taken.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Everyone enjoys a good picture now and then.
Right. and a good,
and
a good stripper now and then.
It was a good picture. In Kansas City, Kansas, they cover your body with a gray blanket, so it looks like you just woke up. Like from a nap. A really funk nap.
That really needs to be on the cover of the next album. That's incredible.
Yeah. Well, eventually down the road, we'll see the famous mugshots, and that'll be the one.
Yeah, right. That's nice.
Yeah.
You listen to Across the. Oh, go ahead.
But it's not that we're like anti-law enforcement or
Right.
anything like that. I mean, in Kansas City, we've got plenty of police friends. We've actually been informed that the SWAT team in Kansas City, Missouri, listens to our record Vice before they go kicking doors of drug houses.
How sick is that?
That's a good feeling.
Again, something to put in a video. That'd be awesome right there.
Right.
You listen to Across the Board with Ian the Colonel and Keenan Nichols, who is guitar for The Architects out of Kansas City, Missouri. I can't stress that enough. The Architects. These are the punk band. Love you guys too. And talk about clubs and that kind of stuff. I actually read in an interview that Brandon said their first real show, I think this was actually before you joined the band though, so I'm not sure if you know about this. Their first real show was in a bar, and the drummer was 9. Is that true? Do you know?
Yeah, I'm not. I know that Adam was super young. I mean, I know that they were touring and stuff when he was 15.
Wow.
So it wouldn't. I wouldn't
put it past him.
doubt that he had played a show when he was 9.
9 at a bar. Can you imagine? Like Hanson or something, No.
Sounds like something that would happen only in Delaware.
Recital.
What's that?
I'm sorry, I was cutting out.
No, go ahead. Say that again.
Yeah, it wasn't like some drum recital. I mean, these dudes were playing full-on shows.
That is amazing. Now, the official website right now is your MySpace page, right? Which is Architects KCMO. Is that right?
Yeah.
MySpace/Architects, plural, KCMO. What else do you guys have? I mean, you guys are out there on Facebook. Do you have Twitter and all of that?
Yeah, we're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. I can't remember the other one off the top of my head because I just woke up and I'm sitting in a tube of farts. But
That's outstanding.
yeah. But Facebook is that's our main guy. That's where we can really keep real time in touch with fans and people and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have a Live Nation page yet, or?
I think we do. That's the one I was trying to remember.
Right, that's what I figured.
Yeah, the music player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, so we talked about, The Hard Way is the most recent album, but it did come out in '09. What's next for you guys? I mean, touring or, when's the next album to be expected?
Yeah, we're out with My Chemical Romance until the beginning of June, and then back home we're gonna cut a new record. We've spent the winter writing and demoing probably about 15 songs, which is the new approach for us. We've always kind of just, got to get a record out, start jamming songs together, writing that way. This time we actually took our time and writing lyrics and demoing stuff, and so that way we can listen back to it and decide and mess with arrangements or send them off to other friends within the industry and see get a fresh opinion and someone out of our camp and see what's going on. So I'm really excited to actually get in the studio and record this next record. I think it's going to be really, really good.
Now, what's your favorite song to play live? And if you had a choice to cover, and I usually ask this because I'm curious, it gives me a little bit of insight into the band. If you had a song to pick to cover, any one song as the band, what would you cover?
We're all hardcore AC/DC fans, and we've been known to play AC/DC cover here and there. We really had Sin City down real tight.
Very nice.
And it's one of those songs where you don't have to learn a solo, so you can let the creative juices fly in the moment, and
right.
either soar like an eagle or crash and burn on a solo. So that's kind of the exciting, fun part of playing live. But Sin City is definitely my favorite cover song to play live.
And your own song to play live?
Anything where I get to shred someone's face off. I love to play Pills live. I love Cold Hard Facts has a real ripping solo.
I love that song. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the first solo I wrote in the band and in the studio because I was the new guy, so I just I wanted to bury whatever came before me. So I just I was channeling whoever I could. I think I was maybe even ripped off Wasp a little bit in that solo. But that solo is a lot of fun to play. That song is a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, I was going to ask, again, you're listening to Across the Board with Ian the Colonel here on Hawk Radio, and we're with Keenan from The Architects. I was going to ask, when you're looking to write a solo or any kind of, riff or anything that you really want to melt somebody's face off, do you have to be in a certain mood? Like, do you have to be awake a certain amount of time, or do you have to be, have a couple beers in you, or be really pissed off or something, get somebody to punch you in the face?
I wish it was as cool as that. It's more like a math problem.
Okay.
Or writing a story. I mean, you want specific parts to, that's what makes a solo memorable.
Right.
So, you can't just get in there and flash 13 notes into Egyptian scale and be stoked about it. There's got to be feeling involved with it.
Right.
So, you got to know when to hit that 1.5 step or whatever, or when to ascend or descend, or when to go fast or slow it down. And I'm a huge bender. I bend the hell out of everything.
Nice.
So lots of bends going on over stage left.
I like that you say that, though, because you say that you have to, know the timing and that sort of thing. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people do just write and they're just like, power chord, bar chord, and they don't do anything with it. So it's great. And that comes across in your music, though. I mean, there's thought. You can always tell the bands that put thought into what they're writing and those that they do, that don't. So we really appreciate that. And looking forward to seeing you guys on tour. Yeah. No, when all is said and done, what do you want your legacy to be? If there was a musical epitaph for you, what would you want that to be? Just for you or the band? I mean, do you want to do any side projects, or what do you want your legacy left behind to be?
I consider myself more of an entertainer. I mean, it's just I want to put on a show. I want people to be entertained by the music and the live show. Otherwise, there's no point of going out on the road and playing shows. Because it's a hard life and. You're sleeping in vans, you're not showering and stuff. So
nice.
I just want it. I want people to be entertained. Our big mantra is, work hard, live big, and live easy.
I like it.
So when you're on the road, then what keeps you sane?
The fraternity of the road, being with the guys, and knowing that there's like 4 or 5 guys all on your side. We all, we all speak. We all have our own language. We all think certain things are funny. So it's stuff like that. I mean,
that's
and
not
little things like taking the time out and like all of us going and like grabbing some eggs or getting some breakfast, and not
Right.
just eating a bag of crunchy stuff from a box that sells gas next to the highway.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And it's nice that you found guys that you can get along with. I work with the Colonel here every day, and sometimes I want to strangle him. So it's nice when you find somebody that you can get along with day in and day out. So
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their moments, but it's we're all. I mean, the vibe is perpetual motion. The future, it's right there in front of us. Let's go get it.
yeah. Well, again, Keenan, we appreciate the time, man. We are big fans. Again, the Architects and it's Architects KCMO. That's the MySpace page. They're also on Facebook. Again, make sure you are looking at the band from Kansas City, Missouri.
Live Nation as well.
Yeah, Live Nation as well. And again, just huge fans, man. And whatever you're doing to write those riffs and those solos, keep doing it. Give our regards to everybody in the band. A lot of love from us on this side.
Awesome. Are we going to see you guys in D.C.?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be there, man. So it's about a couple hours from us. So we'll definitely be there. We try to get out to as many live shows as possible. And from what your publicist, our good buddy Ray, tells us, you guys have an incredible live show. So we must be there for that.
Yeah, you got to come. I'll do like 19 scissor kicks in your face.
Nice. Sweet. All right, so this has been Across the Board with Ian the Colonel, with Keenan from the Architects. Go check these guys out. Buy their music. See them on the road. That's how bands make most of their money, actually, is you actually seeing them at live shows.
Absolutely.
Go support them. Live music is where it is. That's where you need to see everything anyway. So we'll be back in just a few. This is Across the Board with Ian the Colonel on Hawk Radio.
HawkRadio.org.